Hello, everybody. It's great to be here one more time today. My name is Gary Fowler, and I'm the CEO, president, founder of GSD Get You Done Venture Studios, a premier AI and quantum venture studio located in the heart of Silicon Valley. I'm a 17-time serial entrepreneur with several unicorns under the belt. I was on the original management team at Click Software, which was sold to Salesforce for $1.35 billion, and also Eva.ai, an AI HR tech company I co-founded with Dr. David Yang. We believe at GSD that intellectual capacity is evenly spread around the world, but opportunities are not. Today at GSD, we are a family office, a venture studio. We have a PR and marketing agency, and also a frontier AI development company. Why? Because we want to create a 360-degree system to build unicorns. So with that today, and GSD presents Top Global Startups, I have Alessandro Pizzoferrato. He is a visionary and is one of the visionaries that's looking at turning human networks into scalable talent ecosystems. I love that. And as many of you know, at GSD, we work with startups and innovators around the world that are transforming industries with technology. And Alessandro's one of those persons. He believes that while AI and automation are transforming how we work, human relationships remain the most powerful infrastructure in the labor market. His platform enables people to unlock the value of their networks by referring talent across company boundaries and even earning rewards for successful placements. What makes Alessandro particularly interesting is that he's not just a tech founder, he's also an entrepreneur, deeply involved in community building, running both a coffee shop and a co-working space, giving him a unique ground level perspective on how people actually connect, collaborate, and find opportunities. Today, we'll talk about the future of hiring, the power of networks in the AI age, and why human trust may become the most valuable currency in the modern workforce. So with that, I'd like to bring Alessandro onto the show. Hi, Alessandro.
Hi, Gary. Thanks for having me.
Did I
Quite the
miss anything?
introduction. I turned a little bit red. I hope you can see it.
No. Well, you're doing a good job. So tell me, why did you start the coffee shop?
Well, actually, I wanted to have some time off from a screen. Actually, doing something with my hands-on approach. The timing wasn't that good. It was during COVID, so
You started a coffee shop during COVID?
yeah, exactly. So in 2020, so we started with the coffee shop idea. I had actually a co-founder there. Who was really willing to do it. He saw the possibility, the opportunity, and then we said, okay, even though it's risky, it will be a fun ride for sure. So we started.
Well, it's definitely riskier during COVID because you couldn't go out, right?
That's true. That's true. That's why we started with
So
takeaway
what did you
coffee.
do? Would you just say, listen, we have a coffee shop, but nobody's coming?
Takeaway was a good point there. Actually, we were the only coffee shop opening up for takeaway, so we had a huge rush. We had not enough coffee beans ordered, so we had to roast it again. It was a crazy week actually. The first one, it was sunny. It was February. The other days it was cold as hell. No, I would say cold as what? I don't know how
Yeah,
to.
no, cold as hell. The cold as hell. It's actually,
Okay.
when you think about it from a word standpoint, it doesn't make any sense, right? But it does.
Actually, it doesn't. Yeah, but anyway, good. But it was a crazy week at the end. We had a huge success in the first week, and this is where we started and how.
Wow. And how long ago was that?
Well, it was 2020, so it's 5 6 years ago now.
And
Um,
how's the coffee shop business today?
Booming, I would say, really booming. It's really nice. Actually, the first year was really tough, and the second year also we were actually, I would say, maybe close to bankruptcy, but we turned the corner. We invested a little bit more, and since then it's booming. It's a really nice. It's a nice coffee shop, and people like it. And this is where the first community was built. At the end, it's our coffee shop community.
And now, what about the co-working? Is that there too?
Actually, we are now expanding in this approach because we saw that we had a lot of people coming in, passing by with their laptops, working from the coffee shop. And okay, what if we could actually give them a better infrastructure to that? Having great coffee, having great music, having great people around it. So we expanded and rented a new place right across the street on the same area. And yeah, this will be our co-working space.
And how many companies can you put in this space?
Actually, it's a really small one. So we have like 16 desks there. So it is always like start small, start with but having the place full will be the goal at the end, and then expanding from there even more. So we have huge projects, huge ambitions, and this is how it should go.
Wow, that's great. Well, that's super. So let's start with your journey. What inspired you to build Chain Staff, and what problem in hiring were you trying to solve?
So where it started, good question. So I would say the movement started like 10 years ago. I don't know if you are familiar also with the recruitment measures about employee referrals. So you work for a company and you start with your employees to get to good candidates. It's a really common channel, I would say, and it's very successful. But I believe their network effects don't have to be only stuck in one company or in this company. They go outside of the company. So if you start thinking network effect and outside
Hmm.
company boundaries, or then there is real value that you can generate to even reduce more costs, reduce resources, whatever you need.
Hmm.
And this is actually something I was really passionate about, to reduce costs for companies, and at the end, having a great monetizing system where you can turn new networking also into a monetizable asset. And this is actually where the idea turned up, and this is where we are working for now at chainstaff. Yes.
So you're a tech founder and someone running a physical community, spaces like a coffee shop and co-working hub. How did those experiences influence your thinking about hiring in networks?
Yeah. I'm a really referral guy. I don't know how about you, but I do everything about referring people or whatever. So when I go to vacation, I get referred to hotels, to places, wherever you go, it's a referral mechanics at the end. And this is also how the coffee shop grew, or the co-working space. It was a mouth-to-mouth channel, which say, hey, you have nice coffee shop. There's a nice coffee. We do like nice latte art at the end. And this is how the community really spread it out. We had no
Did you
marketing
learn
budget.
how to do the latte art?
Actually, I'm still in the learning process.
It's not so easy, is it?
It's not so easy how it looks, but yeah, always when I go there, I make my own flat white. So every day it looks a little bit better. My co-founder would say it takes too long, but yeah, maybe one day I will do it perfectly fine.
Wow, that's great.
Yeah, but basically it was no marketing budget, nothing. We had no money to invest in ads or social media, whatever. And this is something that fascinates about me. If you have a great product or a great solution, it doesn't matter if it's a physical or if it's digital. If people start talking about it, you create something really nice and different than you can create with ads or marketing budget
Mhm.
at the end.
That's interesting. So, when did you realize that traditional hiring platforms like job boards and LinkedIn weren't enough?
Well, I would say generally in hiring, you have to have a good recruiting channel mix. So won't say that one channel is really specific to hire all the jobs, but I believe there are different niches that are not covered by these classic platforms. If you think about job ads, you have a lot of people which are passive candidates, which are not really looking into new jobs in job ads platforms. They're really good, but for active candidates, really seeking for new opportunities. And if you think about LinkedIn, one of the biggest players in the field, um, they don't cover pretty good the blue collar sector or the healthcare sector. So there's always like a market and a niche for every product on the market. Then at the end,
So when you go down through and look at it, let's talk about Chain Staff. How does
Mhm.
the platform actually work?
The platform is very easy to use. So company can post. So it's a mobile first solution. At the end, we have a B2B, B2C market. For companies, how it works, it's pretty easy. You can post job ads for free. All what you said is a specific bounty. It's a prize money at the end. Our users on the other side can
How
check
much do
out
they traditional give, by the way? What do they give? Like, let's
um,
say it's a 150,000 euro job. What kind of a bounty would they give on that?
Well, actually, the I would say right now it's around 1 to 5K, depending on the how much or how urgent it is.
So they're
So
getting off easy compared to a
yeah,
recruiter, right?
of course, of course. That's why actually we distribute this kind of mechanics. You don't have like an agency searching for you, but you have at the end thousands of humans, peoples, professionals which have a network, and like this, you can also reduce the bounty that you want to pay at the end. But basically, how it is this open networking platform. People can share the jobs across their network, LinkedIn, WhatsApp, Instagram, wherever they want. And on the other side, when someone applies, gets the job, the bounty is paid out to chainstaff. We take the full bounty and then we split it across all active community members. So it's actually a part of giving back to people who participate in the ecosystem.
Wow. And how much do they get? What is the average check size?
Yeah, so we split it across 60% goes to the person who made the referral, 10% goes to the candidate who got the job, and 10% goes actually to a community pool. The community pool is then split out to all active members based on gamification, based on leaderboard and stuff like this, and 20% is actually then our revenue model.
Wow, that's great. That's really good. So, what makes network hiring fundamentally different from job boards or recruiting agencies?
I mean, if you go into network hiring, or mostly if you use your network to get people to the job, it's quite different because what you have is this kind of social trust. So if you recommend someone through your network, there's always like a social trust mechanics, and this is something that really maybe if you go then deeper into AI cannot replace. In job ads, you basically rely on people seeing the job and applying to that job. On active sourcing, so if you have an in-house recruiter, you rely on his competencies to get people or candidates. And if you go to network hiring or a referral hiring, you have this kind of social trust, which we really want to monetize on the other hand. And this is actually they stay longer, so when they get referred, the costs for a company comes down. You distribute your resources, so you don't have to have high or huge recruitment teams. So it's in a way one of the best hiring methods if you really implement it into a company channel mix.
Interesting. Your motto allows people to earn rewards for successful referrals. How important is incentive design in building a talent network?
um, well, I would say really important. I mean, uh, it's not easy to curate these kind of network effects at the end. At the end, it's always your face you have there, and from the technological perspective, it's more like how can you drive more value through your network that you have? How can you incentivize these persons even more, and how can you keep them engaged? And this is mainly the question that we are trying to solve through either gamification or other through the split out of the bounty to all active participants.
How do you ensure trust and quality when hiring happens through extended networks?
That's a very good point. So quality is monitored by us. So we have also some AI recruitment add-ons where you can really scan the profiles a little bit about what is actually the matching. What we see is that when someone gets referred, the quality is already pretty high. So this is already a sign for referrals. And lastly, the thing is we have a leaderboard and you have tier system. That's basically the gamification side of it. So the better you are as a user at the end, the higher is your tier level. The higher your tier level, the higher your monetization at the end. And like that, we really not only incentivize random referrals, but we incentivize the right quality fit referrals.
Is AI involved in helping match candidates through these networks? And if so, how does it complement human referrals rather than replace them?
Yeah, I would say networks and AI are actually a really, really great, amazing channel to use. So think about how do you refer currently persons to a job? Okay, you are maybe drinking a beer with someone or having a coffee, and he says to you, "Listen, I'm not so happy. Maybe you have something. Do you know someone?" So all this kind of process, thinking about, okay, where could he fit or which job would be fit for you, is actually replaced by AI. Also, the whole outreach at the end. What we have is actually the social trust. I know you, you know me. So if I tell you, listen, there's a job that maybe fits to you, has been done through AI. They already have some matching algorithms saying, hey, listen, Alessandro, in your network, there is Gary who will be a really great fit. And can I reach out to him? Because if I reach out to you, the response code is much, much higher than if someone random hiring manager does it. So
Mhm.
that's why network and AI are a good way to go forward.
We're entering an era where AI can screen resumes, write job descriptions, even conduct interviews. In that world, why do human networks matter more than ever?
I would give you back this question in a way. We have reached a point where candidates, on the one hand, are really improving their resumes by AI. With one click, you can apply through thousands of jobs. They really put the skills that they want to hear. And on the other side, you have matching platform or matching algorithms from a company stand out, which really try to match candidates generated by AI and matching algorithms by AI. So what this ends, which is my opinion, is like we'll have at the end 100% matching rate on every profile. So what is your actually opinion on this one, on this topic?
I mean, the situation is you go down through and look at it, and there's trust built inside of the network. When you're doing referrals, there's trust, and that person. You may not, some of the hard skills they have may be different than the soft skills they have, and so those kind of things. It's all, my side of it's about trust, and those, the world's changed because you're not one of many, one of few if you get referred over. And I call this employment infobesity, by the way.
Employment?
Infobesity.
Okay, this you need to explain me a little bit more.
Yeah, so there's too much data out there.
Yeah,
You're inundated as a recruiter, and you got too many people looking the same. So who are you going to check? Now the different thing is you look for the person that has a personal referral, because you know that what they're saying is right, and that it's not been manipulated by some of the tools,
exactly.
because
So
everybody can look the same.
because I think it was also Mark Cuban who said it like 2 years ago that when you cannot, if you think about agentic AI or AI in general, when you cannot anymore differentiate between what is real or what is fake or what is AI generated, which will come for sure, it will have a huge impact. This will lead even more to face-to-face engagement at the end. And this is actually where we see referrals in an AI age standing out on the other side.
Now, do you believe that hiring in the future will look more like social discovery rather than traditional recruiting?
Good question, actually. I haven't thought about it in this way, but it could be a word like that, of course. I would also have to see recruitment more going through a skill-based setup with soft and hard skills really matching better to the jobs that we are looking for. And I still believe that with AI, what you have now is actually you have access to knowledge everywhere. And what will be more important is how do you actually fit to either the company on a personal level or to the job and the team. So this will be more important, I see also in the future, because everything else can be learned.
Hmm. What role will reputation and trust networks play in the future labor market?
I would say a main part of it, because I mean, in a world where you can apply with one click to thousands of jobs at the end, um, what stands out is really someone rooting for you or vetting for you
Yeah, you need
during
advocates.
your
You need
exactly.
cheerleaders to go in.
I mean, and it's not a I would say networking as so on or how it is. It's not a new version of it. I think it will be more dominant at the end because networking or network effects there are from thousands of years. Maybe you can say with LinkedIn, you went from networking in a analog way to a digital way. And what we do now at chainstaff is creating the monetization layer around it. So it's not a new thing per se, but I think it's one of the most successful hiring methods, and this is where companies should invest even more.
Building a hiring platform is challenging because it's a two-sided marketplace.
Exactly.
What's been
Exactly.
your lesson? What have been your lessons so far?
The lesson so far is not market too much the platform, but really talk to companies, do more sales at the end. Um, it's really tough, I would say. Also, a lot of advisor when we started said, "Oh, you have a two-sided marketplace. These are the most difficult to scale. Don't do that." Yeah, well, you saw how that went. I did it. Um, I think you have to find the right way to sell your product at the end, because what you need is jobs to bring volume, to bring users, and users will stick only if you have jobs on the other side. That's why we really position our solution basically as an internal and external referral engine and companies, because like that you can address both markets at the same time. You have, with a new company onboarding, you have all their jobs and all their employees, and like this the network effect grows even more exponentially.
What's one common misconception founders have about hiring talent?
uh, well, about hiring talent, um, I would say um, that the people you hire have the same passion for the product that you have. I would say this one. Really bringing a team together which is so passionate like you are as a founder is almost impossible. There are ways, of course, but I would say you can't um, have everyone with the same attitude and the same passion behind the product. That's the main misconception, I would say.
If you look 5 to 10 years ahead, how do you actually think people will be looking for jobs?
I hope they will not look anymore for jobs, but they get hinted by colleagues and friends joining either a new challenge, a new company, or whatever. That's actually how I envision how hiring should be in 5 to 10 years.
For entrepreneurs listening today, what's one piece of advice you'd give about building a strong professional network?
Um, Perseverance. Well, this is more generic, I would say. Perseverance is the most important part. So the thing is, when you start growing your network or your community at the end, it helps you when you start with a community which is already there, which has common interest. But if you don't have it, you really need to think about some market channels or market guerrilla marketing strategies to really reach out the right people, and then having them, your first 10 users should become your ambassadors for the next 10 and for next 20. So really stick to the first super users, I would say,
Yeah, you
to
need the
really spread.
references, right? Because it's about trust
Exactly.
and credibility. It's verification.
Exactly.
You
You
know,
need.
no, I agree with you. Alessandro, listen, we're coming into the top of the show. Closing thoughts and how do people get a hold of you?
Closing thoughts about me or about the chain stuff or about the
Just
solution at
about
the end?
closing thoughts about your company. You
Yeah.
know,
Okay. Um, Building a company is tough. Building a company is cool. Building a company has up and downs. I really I'm happy that I can go or embark to this journey because it gives me so much pleasure, even though it is tough. But what we are really trying to do is something different, something really that brings value to people and companies at the end. And this is how I would like to be remembered. And this is how I really thrive in this ecosystem.
no, it's fan. I don't like the part about remembering. I'll tell you a little story. 2 years ago or 3 years ago, somebody mixed me up with somebody that had passed away in my same name, and it went viral.
No way.
It was insane. I saw it, and I felt pretty good. Well, I'll tell you the real story. So I I looked at it. I said to my wife, "Does this the guy look familiar?" She said, "Yeah, it's you." I said, "It's not me." You read down through, and it had all my stuff because it had my background, but that guy's my birthday. They had a different date of birth, the year I was born, and he's from Connecticut, and I'm like, "This is crazy." So I look at it, and it went viral. So I had
Okay.
friends calling, putting rip on my Facebook page and everything else. But there was such a nice article, I didn't want to like destroy it because I really liked what they said about me, right?
Well, that's actually like a preview how it should maybe be one day at the
Yeah,
end.
it
So
was really good. I mean, but the problem is, when you're dead, nobody ever. I don't know how many people really look at their preview of
yeah.
their obituary. So anyhow, what happened is I went over to this restaurant by my house, and the guy's into there, and he's a good friend of mine. But it was a day after Easter. I never forget, and I took the obituary. I printed it out in color, and I showed it to him. And he looks me in. He read it and looks at it. I said, "I have something to show you." And he looks at me. His eyes got wet, really big, and I said, "Resurrection." And I thought it was a heart attack.
The timing was perfect, I would say.
It was the day after Easter. It was like it
Um,
was funny. But
that-
anyhow, you got to have some fun in your life too. That's the other thing.
that's true.
You got to
That's
have a good time and laugh. And this has been a fascinating conversation about the human relationships and technology and how they can work together to reshape hiring. If people want to learn more about chainstaff, follow your work, or join, you just gave them information. I appreciate that. And to everyone listening today, thanks for taking time out of your busy schedule one more time for joining GSD Presents Top Global Startups. My name is Gary Fowler. I'm your host. Stay happy, stay safe, and stay healthy. We'll be back again soon for another exciting edition. Alessandro, if you want to stay on for a few minutes and talk, we can
of
speak.
course.
Take care, everybody, and have a great weekend. Enjoy yourselves.